at randyradio.com. That's sales at randyradio.com. The Miller Media Group is an equal opportunity employer and scared of bears.
Your friend in Central Illinois. WHOW.
Top of the morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. My guest in this segment is Lincoln Mayor Tracy Welch. Mr. Mayor, good morning. How are you, sir?
Doing great. How about you?
Doing well. Thanks for asking, and thanks for making time for us. It's always good to have you on the program and catch us up on the latest in the city of Lincoln. And this is a topic, Mr. Mayor, we're going to start with today that we haven't touched on in some time, but Fifth Street is back in the purview of the city council. And so what's going on here? And we'll maybe, after you give us an update, we'll dive into some background here. How about that?
Yeah, sure. Well, this is our 20-year project, or 20 plus years, and we've been trying to get it to shovel ready, and we have been working on parcel acquisition for quite a while now, been pretty successful. But as we got toward the end of that, asked the engineers for some updated numbers, and due to the economic climate and the cost of materials and the shortage of supplies, that project has now gone up to in excess of $8 million if we proceed with that project. So, that's an awful lot of money, more than the $3+ million that we were quoted on that just a handful of years ago. And so I took that information to the council and presented the information. And so they've had some conversations about that. That's kind of where we're at right now on it.
So I just kind of thought of this, and I don't mean to suggest that the city's drug its feet or anything like that, because it was quite a process to get to where you're at now, to secure land agreements and things of that nature. But is it frustrating that you had this cost in mind and now it's over doubled, and we know the economic times we're in and all of that. But just how about your thoughts on any frustration perhaps on your end?
Yeah. We have, it's the city as a whole, not just my administration, has been working on this project, and some administrations made more progress than others. I think that's probably a better way of putting it. The parcel acquisition piece of that took quite a bit of time. I mean, we had to have sit down conversations with many parcel owners. We bought some parcels. We bought some easements. We had to work out negotiated deals for portions of that, and it took a while. So unfortunately, it took too long as the prices went up.
Yeah, no doubt. So talk to me a little bit, Mr. Mayor, as we, kind of explore what is next. Is it scaling back what you plan? Is it reimagining what you planned? How do you proceed?
Well, so what we did was started talking internally with our streets and alley superintendent, Walt Landers, and our treasurer, Chuck Conzo. And we're like, okay, let's have a conversation. If we have to do this in-house, because we know we have to do something, we can't just shut the project down and walk away. That road is just in desperate need of attention. It's got drainage problems out there. Residents have lakes of water due to the improper drainage out there. So we started talking internally about it, and some estimates were presented to the council. If we did all concrete for that road, I think the estimate was around $3 million for us to do it. But there's some options being discussed. Another piece of this that we have to consider too, Seth, is the fact that we have received grants from the federal and state, and those funds, we've had to have conversations with them to say, if we shut this project down and do it internally, do we have to pay the money back?
Mm-hmm.
And we've learned that with the federal, we do not. We're still not sure where we're at with the state, but something that we're asking questions about now that we're waiting on answers is, if we do this internally, can we go ahead and do a redesign and then make that eligible to continue to use those funds. So, not only are we trying to figure out how to make the project happen, but we're trying to make sure that we don't go backwards in paying back a bunch of money that's already been spent.
Yeah. So what do you view as the most imminent need for Fifth Street? It's in tough shape for one. You mentioned me off the air. There's some drainage stuff you need to look at. I know widening the road has been the kind of the grand vision, if you will. Now that you have to really kind of prioritize things, Mr. Mayor, what do you view as the most imminent need for that road and that stretch of land?
Well, first and foremost, I think the drainage has to be addressed. It gets really bad out there in the Westminster area, and there's been some very patient property owners that have waited for us to do something with this road. But I think the condition of the road itself is right up there in priority as well, because it's rough. If you've been out on that road, I mean, it gets a lot of traffic. It has not only residential, but it's got commercial semi-traffic out there. So that road gets beat up pretty well, and we need to do something with it.
Well, when it comes to moving forward on this, how quickly do you want to get this, this going? Because you don't want to sit too much longer and watch costs go up even more. And like you talked about with, the funding issues and things of that nature, it doesn't sound like you really want to sit around and wait on all of that. So how quickly do you want to start to get this ball? I know it's been a slow roll to this point. So how much do you want to pick up the pace on this?
I'd actually like to see some work done regarding the drainage this year. I think that's something that we might be able to tackle based on the information. But if we do choose to continue to use those state funds, we're kind of at the mercy of IDOT. And IDOT's got a letting schedule and a process they go through for projects, which may put us in the next year. So, we don't have all the answers right now, but the short answer to your question is, we'd like to start immediately. We're that desperate to get that road done.
Wow. Quite a turn of events on that.
Yeah, has been.
Yeah. Well, and it's just, it's really, that's crazy how quickly, the situation has changed. Mr. Mayor, is there a chance that the city could pony up the $8 million and just make it happen? Is there the possibility of that?
It's really up to the city council, and I don't have a vote on that. I have an opinion. My opinion is it's more likely that they would forego the money that has been spent by the state and pay that back and get moving quickly and do a $2 to $3 million project out of our pocket before they would wait to do the full $8 million project, only because of the schedules that you're tied to when you have to work with other agencies. And because there's also a piece that involves the county here. They own a stretch of that road. So not only are we working with IDOT, federal government, but the county engineers, Brett Allcamp, he'd like to see us move on this project too, the way I understand it. And so, a lot of moving parts, and unfortunately we're trying to hit a moving target, but I'm confident that we'll get it done. And I'd like to get going as soon as possible. We just got to make sure all the pieces are in place.
Yeah. Forgive me for asking this. When you say getting it done, is it your hope to get it done in full the way you were planning, or is it get it done, just have something get done? And I don't mean to be condescending with that question, I guess.
Well, it's an honest question. If we do it ourselves, it will not be the full wide-scaled road.
Yeah.
Because that's what's driven up the cost.
Yeah.
And also, there's a couple parcels that we haven't acquired out there, and rightfully so. I don't think that those individuals would be willing to let that go if we did less than the full-scale widening of the road. But still, I think that our streets and alleys and working with contractors does a really good job of paving our roads here in town. And I think that we can put a new surface out on that existing road even if we got to grind it down and get something nice and smooth and flat, the cost will still be far less than the $8 million. So when I say get it, get it done, I mean, let's get the drainage problems fixed or, addressed. And then let's also get a new surface on the road for the people out there who deserve it.
Yeah, it is a rough road. I don't mind admitting it is a rough stretch to drive if you have to go out that way. So it would be just that on its own. I think, Mr. Mayor, would be welcome. Folks could get over for an oncoming car or something like that. But I think the resurfacing piece you're talking about is probably what a lot of people see as the most imminent need. But yeah. So anyways, Mr. Mayor, anything else on that we didn't touch on you want to put out there for us?
No, I would just say if you're interested in the Fifth Street project and kind of want to stay in the loop, keep an eye on our city council agendas and our Facebook page.
All right, very good. Well, Mr. Mayor, let's take a time out here. Come back with some more. Lincoln Mayor Tracy Welch is my guest on the phone. We talk more with him coming your way next on the WHOW Morning Show.
WHOW.
Let's check the markets on the RFD Radio Network. I'm DeLoss Yankee. Little bit lower for corn and soybeans, not like the losses we had yesterday and the day before. March corn, those down 4 1/4, 673. May down 2 1/2, 672 1/4. July down 3/4 of a cent, 662 1/2. March soybeans are down 2 3/4, 15.12. May down 4 1/4, 15.07 1/4. July down 4 3/4, 14.99. March wheat up a fraction, 7.34 3/4. Kansas City up 5 1/4, 8.37 1/4. Livestock, Feb lean hogs up 152, 78.17. Feb live cattle up 35, 156.30 after being down all week. March feeders up 52, 180.62. This is the RFD Radio Network.
As a nonprofit store, Love It Once More Thrift Store in Clinton relies on your donations. So this month, if you bring us a donation, we'll give you a card worth 10% off your total purchase. This is Connie reminding you to check us out on Facebook or DeWittDailyNews.com.
This is Ryan Utterback with Utterback Real Estate. I'm ready for a jump start.
Man, I forgot my jumper cables.
No, I'm ready to help clients jump on a new home.
But what if they fall off?
And that's why you're the other Ryan.
Get a jump on the new year by clicking the Utterback Real Estate icon at DeWittDailyNews.com.
Life is uncertain. Stop in and see me, State Farm Agent Jason France, on the west side of the Clinton Square, or click our icon at DeWittDailyNews.com and see how our full lineup of State Farm insurance and financial services can help protect your family.
Local farm broadcaster Jared White covers the local agriculture news you need to know. Hear his reports by downloading the free WHOW mobile app.
Your friend in Central Illinois, WHOW.
Once again, a good morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube. It's brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. Lincoln Mayor Tracy Welch, my guest on the phone today. Hey, Mr. Mayor, let's talk about some things going on Kickapoo Street with Rio Grande. What's going on with Rio? It's Rio Grande, right? Or is it Rio Grande? Mr. Mayor, you with us?
I am.
Sorry about that. That was my fault. Let's talk about some things going on Kickapoo Street with Rio. Is it Rio Grande or Rio Grande?
Rio Grande.
Rio Grande. That's what I thought, but I've heard people call it Rio Grande, so I get confused. But anyways, Rio Grande, what's going on with them?
Well, they own that building there on Kickapoo Street, and they've had a parklet. If you remember, we got parklets here in town now. And that section of the road is pretty narrow. It's for them to put a parklet out there. It's not real safe. And so one of our aldermen, Rick Hopel, he's been having conversations with them about moving that parklet concept and then moving it up into the grassy area as an outdoor patio dining area. So, that involves several things. It involves the fact that we have a lease with tourism for that property, which they're more than willing to work with us on it. Also, they want to cut a hole in the wall so that their diners can go outdoors and eat out there. For us, the big piece is we would like to cooperate with them and come to an agreement so that we can put a mural up on their wall, because that's the corridor coming into town for Route 66. So it's a perfect spot, and that's a big wall.
It is very good. So, with that in mind, is that something like a TIF grant or TIF funding could be a part of? Would that fall in under anything of that nature?
Yeah. So for them to open up that wall with the door, they've applied for an economic development grant and have been approved. There's some stuff we got to work out with that. We're going to meet today to talk about that. But the concrete pad, the city's going to pour that at no cost, simply because we're looking at the safety aspect of it. Also we're looking at the economic piece of it. If there's a nice, beautiful mural, there's a restaurant there, we get people out of their cars if they come into town. Our hope is that they won't just eat; they'll shop at other places like Abe's across the street, or go down to Guest House or Hallmark, the many other businesses we have downtown.
There you go. Well, win-win for everybody, it sounds like.
Well, that's certainly the hope, but there's no guarantees with economic development.
That's true. That's true. Is this something that could drag economic development? It makes me think maybe this isn't something that'll happen quickly, or what's your thought on a timeline?
No, I think it'll happen rather quickly. The mural, I think, is going to take a little bit more time because we have to figure out what that mural is going to look like, what's going to be on it, the materials. The other piece is we probably want to put a mural up on the wall before they put the concrete and an awning and stuff. It'll be more difficult to get it up there. Not that they can't, but we got to do everything in the right order. So, but everybody I've talked to, we'd like to see it happen rather quickly.
Looks like you're trying to improve some road signage, Mr. Mayor. What's going on here?
Well, there's been discussion with the council over the last few months about just in general signage on the road. Sometimes we'll see yard sale signs. Unfortunately, campaign signs get put out there in the city right away, business signs. And we've had to deal with some that are obstructions to traffic and create an unsafe condition. So one of our aldermen brought that up, and she was concerned about it, and the council as a whole is as well. So we're just trying to take a look at how we address signage throughout the city. Can we improve it? Can we make it better and safer for everybody? So, but it sounds very simple, but you got to make sure that you're not impacting people and still giving them the ability to do what they need to do. It's an interesting topic for sure.
Yeah. Well, and like we've talked about in the past, you've done some things with the signage downtown with the four-way stops and doing away with the stoplights that were not working and all of that. So would continue on with those types of things.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Very good. Anything else on that, Mr. Mayor?
Nope.
Let's go into sewer bills and the 10% discount being reinstated. I guess I didn't realize that it was taken away. What's going on here?
Yeah, so in the past, when everybody's sewer bill was exactly the same, there was a 10% discount, and the bill was like $24 or $25 at the time. So you come in and you pay a year in advance, and you're set.
Oh.
Well, we're taking a look at that. We have been for a while, and we had to adjust those rates now for sewer bills. Everybody's sewer bill is different now. It's based on how much water you consume, and that's the most equitable way that we could do that. And part of getting those rates stabilized now is that we are able to reinstate that 10% discount. Now, 10% 2 years ago or 3 years ago was a lot less than it may be now. Like my bill every month is $40, so that I'd have to pony up over $400, right, to get a discount. So, but it's an option that's out there for
So since the gas perms are obviously they wear more than a month, I was like, oh, I don't know how I would put that through, but I'll just, you know what I'll do is I'll just message Maggie, a little messenger thing.
Yeah.
See what she says, and if I find anything telling or.
Well, I think we lost the mayor here for this morning. Apologize for that. So we'll see if we can't get him back up on the phone here. But at any rate, Lincoln Mayor Tracy Welch was our guest on the phone. And with that, coming up on the bottom of the hour, network news on the way here on the WHOW Morning Show.
WHOW 75th anniversary feature. We hear from Tom Branson, who got a little taste of what it is to be an on-air personality.